Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Mopping Up Milk podcast, the podcast where we clean up after ourselves. My name is May. I am your host. And today, we're getting out of a creative rut. We're doing it. I am going to run you through my top 5 tips of getting out of a creative rut because I am currently in one, and these are the things I'm going to do to try and get out of my creative rut. But first, I want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. Today, when I'm recording this, marks the first day of the Lunar New Year. So I wanted to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year for all those that celebrate. I am personally celebrating today. I am heading out with my boyfriend and his cousins to go watch some dragon and lion dancing. And then we're all going out for dumplings for dinner. So that'll be fun and iconic, and I cannot wait to celebrate. I am wearing bright yellow today to celebrate. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see my lovely, beautiful yellow dress. I don't own any red, so yellow is my next best. So yellow is my next. What the fuck? I can't speak. So yellow is my next best option. Without further ado, let's get into the weekly spill. Okay, my friends, for the weekly spill this week, I am going to give you the long-awaited camping update. Last week, I spoke to you about how I was going camping for the first time in forever in a tent with my boyfriend and my dog. And I'm going to tell you exactly how that went down. Because when I was there, I lugged my camera and my recording equipment, my mic, and I set up a little camping update for you. I'm literally going to cross over to Megan in her tent from her camping trip. For all those watching YouTube, enjoy the visual of me in a tent with my boyfriend and my dog. Who am I here with?
My name's Tommy.
And you can hear Pino crying in the background. Welcome to the Sea Spray Caravan Park. Welcome to
Tent Talks.
I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling tired. We had a bit of a hiccup last night, guys. Bit of health issues. I couldn't breathe properly last night, so I didn't sleep very well. But we're moving. Let's just put that aside. Is our dog still there? Slay. Have you felt camping with a dog?
I feel like camping with a puppy can be a liability, to be completely honest. Although he is great fun and he's, brings lots of energy and, he is part of the family, I have some reservations around bringing him next time if our objective is to relax.
I agree. My chair squeaked. It wasn't me, guys, I swear. Yeah, it's been a lot. This is our first time camping together ever, and in general, second time for Tommy in his life, so been a lot. Yeah, if you can hear Pino, he's not very happy. He's on his long leash, so he should be happy, but he's not.
Any thoughts, Pino?
Don't let him bite my mic.
No thoughts, just feelings.
Anywho, what was your favourite part about this trip?
My favourite part about this trip, we had a really great time at the beach yesterday. I think we definitely made some core memories with Pino. And what we did at the beach was essentially let him run around and play in the sand and in the water. And it was beautiful. He isn't usually like a water dog. And so he was just like really lapping it up, really enjoying it. Trying to bite the foam, the waves, and I thought it was really cool. What did you think of that?
That was pretty good for me. Pretty good. That was pretty magical. I feel like the sunset was pretty epic. So it felt like we were just like in a different place. Well, we are in a different place. What am I trying to say? Just a different world. Yeah. Like the sky was like this beautiful rainbow gradient, and then Pino was just running around having so much fun in the ocean, and it was just like really cute to see. It's really wholesome, and you were having so much fun. You were like giggling, running around with his lead and jumping in the water. I think that was great. And then also fish and chips by the beach. The general store here in Sea Spray is amazing. It's really great. Would you recommend Sea Spray to others to visit?
Instant yes. I think Sea Spray Caravan Park has it all. Really, it's got like, all your basic amenities. Everything's quite clean, staff are really friendly, so much open space, nice and quiet.
Any final remarks of our first camping trip together?
I had a lot of fun, and I think it's an eye-opening experience. Definitely would come back here and would go, do other campsites and go for longer, What are your final remarks?
My final remarks are, camping with a dog is hard. I love camping with you. It is good fun. And it's a nice way to spend a free weekend instead of being cooped up inside in our apartment in Melbourne. I love being in nature with you, and this is good times.
I want to do a lot more of these with you. The biggest issue will be like, how often can we fit these in?
Once a month?
or let's go for it.
Yeah, this is just a first, guys. I know we seem a little flat and low energy. It's because we didn't really sleep much last night. But this is our first time. It's always hardest on the first time, right?
Yep. Mr. Peno, Mr. Peno.
All right, I think we're Delulu and Delilia. So Delilia is my new word. It's for delirious instead of saying Delulu. And we're Delilia most of the time, hey?
Yeah. So where to next?
Shall we go to Wilson's Prom next?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you at Wilson's Prom. Bye.
Okay, as you can tell, that camping was a time, to say the least. Next on the weekly spill, I want to chat to you about something I experienced this week for the first time. I was actually on a game show, a television game show. And I cannot give you many details about said game show because I signed an NDA. But let's just say it was a very interesting experience. Tommy and I both got casted to go and try out this game show. I'm not sure if it's going to go to air, but I will keep you updated if it does. But yeah, it was such an interesting experience being in a room with a bunch of other people that got casted for this TV game show and just seeing how everyone acts in front of the producers to try and get like picked to go on. For context, they casted a whole bunch of people who were going to be in the audience and could potentially get picked to go on the game show. I'm not sure if you can tell what game show it is by that, but yeah, that happened. And in the morning you go in and you're all in this big, they call it a mess hall, where all the contestants go in and sort of learn about what's going to happen throughout the day. The producers are like, we don't know who's going to get picked yet, but be yourselves, be loud, be crazy, and like we might pick you to go on the show. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. I think they knew who was going to go on the show before we got there. But anyway, it was so funny seeing a bunch of people try to be their most extroverted selves to get picked to go on the game show. It was just a mindfuck, honestly. Like seeing, it was just people from all walks of life, honestly, in this room. It was so bizarre to see. Anyway, yeah, so people are just trying to be as extra as possible. It was so cringe and so weird. Tommy and I felt like fishes out of water. But hey, we had the experience. This set was unreal. It was so cool to be on a TV set. Like, it's full on kitted out. The host was such a pro. He is a very well-known game show host in Australia. So it was really cool. It was really cool. I will keep you updated in the future as to if it goes to air, and then I can divulge all the info about what happened. But it was a fun experience, to say the least. But that is the weekly spill for the week. I hope you enjoyed my little camping crossover. Hopefully in the future I can do more of those, like out and about with the mic vibes. I think it's fun to mix up the video version, but also for audio, you get to experience me at a different time during the week when I'm actually experiencing something. So let me know if you enjoyed that little crossover. If you didn't, maybe don't tell me because I'm gonna keep doing it. Anyway, yeah, let's get on into talking all things creative ruts. Okay, so as I mentioned at the top of the episode, I am going to be talking about how to get out of a creative rut this week. I am personally in one currently. I know some of you might be like, Megan, it's only February. How are you in a creative rut? But I'm going to explain why. I feel as though the pace of January can be really exhausting, especially when you've set yourself such strong and hard New Year goals. I just feel as though you can't really sustain the New Year motivation for a long period of time. It's just not natural, and it's just not natural to feel that fresh and renewed 24/7. Like, I think January is where that motivation sits and lasts, and then you get into February and you're like, holy shit, I feel like I am running out of steam already. So that's where I'm currently at. It's totally okay, but how do we get over this? How are we going to get out of this creative rut? This week I'm going to dive into my top 5 ways to get out of a creative rut and what I will personally be doing over the next couple of weeks to try and get out of this creative rut that I'm currently in. This year I've set myself really large creative goals. The main one being 52 podcasts in 52 weeks. This is an exciting goal, but damn, it's a large one. Realistically, when I break it down, I'm like, 52 episodes, one a week, where I have to discuss something different and fun and new. And I'm like, oh, what am I even going to talk about for 52 episodes? Guys, I've got through 5 and I'm like, what's next? This has led to a little creative rut, mainly because I have not been able to think about topics as quickly as I would have liked to. It's not coming as naturally as I would have liked it, and that's why I feel like I'm creatively in a little bit of a rut. But as I said, that is totally fine, so long as we are proactive about doing something about getting out of the rut, if that makes sense. So let me break down my top 5 ways that I'm going to be getting out of this rut, and hopefully it can help you if you're feeling like you're in a bit of a rut. But let's get on into it. My top tip, my number 1 tip, is to change your environment. It might sound simple, but I'm going to explain why. You're going to go to somewhere that is called a third place. Third places is a term coined by sociologist Ray Oldenburg, and refers to places where people spend time between home, their first place, and work, their second place. They are locations where we exchange ideas, have a good time, and build relationships. For example, this could be a cafe, a park, a library. Most importantly, I think for creative ruts, a museum or a gallery. These are places where you don't feel external pressures of your work life or your personal life. It's a place where you are on even playing ground. You don't have that stress. You're not triggered by the environment. At work, you're triggered by work, obviously. If you're sitting in an office, you're going to feel like those pressures of work are in the back of your mind. Or if you're at home, you're going to sit and think about, I need to get that washing done. I need to go and clean the dishes. I need to tidy up the lounge room. You have those external thoughts and feelings and pressures by being in that environment. Now, when I say go into a third place, you don't have those thoughts in the back of your mind. You could be getting inspired by the environment when you're in a third place rather than feeling triggered by the place. I am going to be going to cafes. That's my number 1 place to feel like I'm on a mutual playing ground. I feel like I can be inspired. I people watch. I don't know how you guys feel about people watching, but I do it a lot to try and get inspired, honestly. When I'm sitting down in a cafe, I'll have my headphones on. I'll be listening to an audiobook, or I might just have my headphones on and not have anything playing. I feel like they're a bit of a safety net for me, so highly recommend if you feel a bit anxious going into a third place, just put your headphones on. It helps me feel a little bit more secure for some reason. You might not need them, but, just a hot tip if you need it. And I just sit at a cafe, I take my notebook, I take my laptop, and I just start working on things that are solely for me and not for my work or for my home, or for anyone else for that matter. So that is my first tip. Jump into a third place. Get yourself out of the house, out of your working environment, and try and explore new places to be inspired. My second tip to getting out of a creative rut is try something new or explore other art forms. Say if you're a visual artist, try exploring literature. If you're a writer, try exploring visual arts. It might not be as successful as you'd like it to be because that might not be your strength, but exposure to diverse ideas can spark creativity. So you might be drawing a picture and it might spark an idea about something you could write about, or you might be writing and it might spark an idea of something you can draw about. I don't know, but just mix up your mediums, your creative mediums. For me, for example, when I'm predominantly a podcaster or filming content a lot, I'm going to dive into more visual arts. I'm going to go to museums and go to galleries over the next couple of weeks and be inspired by different art forms. That could be like paintings, it could be installations. I'm definitely going to go to the NGV again and just try and feel inspired in a different environment and a different art form as to what I'm used to. I'm just hoping that it can spark some sort of creativity and some ideas in me that, I wouldn't usually expose myself to. So yeah, highly recommend trying something new. It might not need to be a new art form. It might be a new hobby or something. Trying a new hobby to try and spark some sort of other thought process that you wouldn't usually be exposed to. All right, my third tip for getting out of a creative rut is keeping a journal or a creative journal. It is something that I've lent on in the past that I've sort of lost track of over the past couple of weeks, and I think has led to a little bit of a rut for me, because when I journal, I'm getting all of my thoughts. I'm literally brain farting all over the page. Why Why? Anyway, it's a place where I can look back on thoughts that can trigger some new thoughts, or I'm literally just getting things out on the page and maybe going more into depth on my thoughts, which can then lead to more ideas and breaking down old ideas, which I could use for future projects. I think that reviewing your notes may trigger new insights or connections between other feelings and thoughts. So, highly recommend just once a day, grab out your journal and just start writing. Just write whatever's in your mind. So I just ran off and grabbed this book to show you guys and reference. It's The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And in this book, she goes into different steps and ways to get out of a creative rut. Actually, it says it's a spiritual path to higher creativity. And I'm referencing this book because one of her first exercises she recommends is to do morning pages, which is a stream of consciousness journaling, which is done first thing in the morning every day. She recommends you just start writing, and it's just a stream of consciousness. You're writing literally anything that pops into your mind, and you get it out on the paper in the hope that you are taking away any stresses that you have in your mind or any mental clouds that you have in your mind. You can just get them out on the paper and have a fresher mind to think about things you want to think about, have more capacity to be creative. So this is sort of my take on that. It's not necessarily writing just whatever's in your mind every morning, but it can be. I just recommend you journal once a day. Could be about a certain topic. It could be about anything. Just write down your thoughts and feelings that day in the hope that maybe it can inspire you, or maybe it can create some free space in your mind to think about other things or be creative. Okay, now my fourth tip is to collaborate with others. In my opinion, collaborating with other individuals can bring fresh perspectives, fresh ideas. Also, brainstorming with others can lead to unique solutions and break through creative blocks. I personally love getting together with my friend Vivian. She's also a creative person. And this year she is doing 52 YouTube videos in 52 weeks, which is insane. She is vlogging every single week this year. And I find it so helpful when I just sit on the couch with Viv and we talk about everything we're currently doing, and we sort of bounce off each other, and we might inspire new ideas. Because we're both doing a similar goal, which is 52 videos or 52 podcasts in the year, we have that common ground and we can collaborate ideas and bounce off each other. I find it really helpful. Every time I walk away from having a chat with Viv, I feel so motivated and I feel like I have new ideas because she is a really great sounding board for me. So I highly recommend collaborating with someone else in your creative field, I guess. If you're an artist, maybe go over to a friend's house and paint together, or paint on the same painting. I don't know. Like literally you grab out a big A3 piece of canvas or paper or whatever you guys do. And maybe you take it in turns of doing brush strokes. I don't know. That could be fun. Maybe one person starts the picture and the other person finishes it. Just to spark new ideas and like to see how someone else would take your painting. I just highly recommend getting together with someone else who also does similar work to you and bounce ideas off each other. If you're a photographer, go out with a bunch of other photographers for a little photo walk and take photos of the same thing and see how each other takes the photo and see how different they can be. I think it can inspire new ways of thinking in your creative medium. My fifth and final way to get out of a creative rut is to embrace constraints. This one's one of the harder ones out of the 5, but I think it's completely necessary if you want to try and just get out of this creative rut as fast as possible. And what I mean by this is that I feel like limitations can breed creativity. If you set specific constraints on your project, such as a time limit, medium restrictions, or a theme even, I feel like this can force you to think differently and find innovative solutions. For me personally, I think I'm going to try time constraints because at the moment with podcasting, I feel like I'm procrastinating and leaving it too late. And I feel the pressure and stress of trying to get this content up in a timely fashion. So I think I might implore the idea of trying out the Pomodoro technique. This technique is a time limit technique where you set a 25-minute timer or a 20-minute timer and you sit with no distractions and pump out a bunch of work. You are not allowed to have a break until that timer is up, But you might find yourself getting into a great stream of thought and go past a 25-minute timer. It's up to you. But the idea is you work for a 25-minute block and then you have a 5-minute break to go on your phone, check those messages, whatever. But then once that 5 minutes is up, you pop your phone away, you pop away your distractions, and you go for another 25 minutes. The idea of this technique is that you go through 4 rounds and then you're allowed to have a longer break. But it means that you're getting in over 60 minutes of focused work. Just think about how much you can get done by just doing those strict timers with no distractions rather than just letting yourself go on your phone every now and again, getting distracted for like an hour. It just means that you're effectively getting your work done in a quicker manner, and it gives you like a time constraint to try and push out those ideas and get shit done ultimately. So for me, I'm going to try out this technique over the next couple of weeks and try and nut out different podcast topics and ideas that I want to explore. Preferably, I'm going to be doing this at a cafe in a third place or at a park or at a library where I can be a bit more inspired and just maybe habit stack these techniques. If you guys know what a habit stack is, it's pretty much just stacking your habits, honestly. It's pretty much the idea that one habit leads to the other habit and it's just a natural sort of continuation. I'm going to try and habit stack these different rules that I'm going to implement to trying to get out of a creative rut. So I'm going to go to a third place, that could be a cafe or whatever, and I'm going to do the Pomodoro technique and embrace constraints to try and get out of this creative rut. Another one could be I go to a third place and I journal. So you can do these different steps together. I feel like I keep saying if that makes sense, but I'm hoping it does to you. So those are my 5 tips of getting out of a creative rut. I'm going to be exploring these tips over the next couple of weeks and I'll check in with how I'm going, but I highly encourage you guys to try some of them out if you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a creative rut at the moment. And let me know if you guys have any other tips that I could try or anyone listening could try. Just pop them in the comments on YouTube or on Spotify. I'll put a little question box of what techniques you use to get out of a creative rut, and hopefully we can all feed off each other and try and get out of these ruts together. So with that, I'm going to thank you guys very, very much for joining me on another week of the Mopping Up Milk podcast. I really thoroughly appreciate you guys listening. I have actually been getting a lot of love over on TikTok for some of my podcast clips, and on YouTube, some of my shorts have been doing really well. So I really do thank you guys for engaging and listening. It means a lot to me because it means that some people are maybe going through the same things as me and I'm not alone. You guys are reassuring me that I'm not alone and I'm trying to do the same back to you. So I really appreciate you guys listening and supporting. If you can, I would really appreciate if you subscribe, like, or download wherever you're listening. It does mean a lot to me. And I just hope you have a really lovely week this week. And I hope you are getting out of those creative ruts one step at a time. Anyway, that is all from me for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next week for another episode of the Mopping Up Milk podcast. Bye, guys. Love you.